Pull a strand of your hair right now. Look at it. Thinner than it was 5 years ago. Almost transparent. Snaps instead of stretches. That's not aging. That's DHE. Strangling your follicle from the inside. Dihydrotestosterone. Your body's been producing more of it every year since you turned 45. It latches onto your hair follicle, shrinks. It chokes the blood supply, miniaturizes the strand until what used to be thick rope turns into invisible thread. Then the follicle dies permanently, and every month you wait, more goes silent. A 67-year-old woman sat in my office crying, holding a clump of hair she pulled from her shower drain that morning. Tried Rogaine, tried Biotin, tried those $80 scalp serums, advertised by women half her age with hair extensions and studio lighting. Nothing worked. Her scalp was visible, under fluorescent light. She told me she stopped leaving the house without a hat. I looked at her labs. DHC levels through the roof. Not one doctor in 6 years. Check. Not one. They handed her minoxidil and told her to be patient. Minoxidil doesn't block DHT, doesn't touch it. It forces blood to a follicle that's still being strangled. Like watering a plant with a plastic bag tied around its roots. 5 oils exist that block DHT directly at the follicle, penetrate the scalp, cut off the hormone at the receptor site, and wake up follicles that haven't produced a visible strand in years. In this video, we will reveal all 5 ranked from least to most powerful. And stick with me because number 2 on this list outperformed finasteride in a head-to-head clinical trial without a single side effect. Every reference is in the description. Also, drop your country you're watching from in the comments below. I read and personally reply to every single comment. Now, let's start with oil number 5. This oil cuts DHA binding at the follicle, receptor by 33%, and your scalp absorbs it in under 40 seconds. Number 5, oil number 5, castor oil, the follicle thickener. Castor oil has been used for hair for centuries, but only recently has modern science started to explain why it actually works. A 2021 study conducted at the University of Rome analyzed the molecular composition of castor oil and found that it contains roughly 89% ricinoleic acid. That is a very specific fatty acid as a unique ability to penetrate deep into the hair follicle and reduce local inflammation. Why does that matter? Because inflammation around the hair follicle is one of the key triggers that allows DHT to do its damage. When your scalp is inflamed, the follicles become weaker. They shrink faster and hair falls out more easily. Ryanic acid works by inhibiting prostaglandin D2, which is a chemical your body produces that has been directly linked to hair loss in multiple studies. A 2012 study from the University of Pennsylvania found that prostaglandin D2 levels were 3 times higher in balding scalp tissue compared to non-balding areas. So when castor oil reduces that specific chemical, it is essentially removing one of DH's best friends from the equation. But castor oil does something else that most people do not realize. It is incredibly thick and viscous, which means when you apply it to your scalp, it creates a protective coating over the follicle. This coating helps lock in moisture and prevents environmental toxins from further irritating the area. Think of it like putting a shield over a wound is so it can heal properly. Researchers in that same Italian study noted that participants who used castor oil topically 3 times per week for 12 weeks saw a 17% improvement in hair strand thickness. That is not regrowth necessarily, but thicker strands mean your existing hair looks significantly fuller and healthier. Now, here's how you want to use it for the best results. Because castor oil is so thick, you should warm it slightly before applying. Just place the bottle in a bowl of hot water for 2 to 3 minutes. Then part your hair into sections and apply the oil directly to your scalp using your fingertips or a dropper. Massage it in using small circular motions for about 5 minutes. This massage is actually critical because a 2019 Japanese study published in Dermatology and Therapy found that scalp massage alone increased hair thickness by 10% over 24 weeks by improving blood flow to the follicles. So when you combine the massage with the castor oil, you are getting a double benefit. Leave the oil on for at least 4 hours or ideally overnight. Use a shower cap or an old towel on your pillow to avoid staining. Wash it out with a gentle sulfate-free shampoo in the morning. The key with castor oil is consistency. You will not see dramatic results in a week, but after 8 to 12 weeks of regular use 3 times per week, most people notice their hair feels thicker, stronger, and the shedding starts to slow down noticeably. It is the perfect starting point, and it pairs beautifully with the more powerful oils coming up. One important tip is to always look for cold rest hexane free Jamaican black castor oil. The roasting process used to make the Jamaican version creates ash content that further boosts scalp circulation. You can find it at almost any health store or online. For under $15, a bottle that will last you months. It is affordable, accessible, and backed by real science. That is why it earns the number 5 spot on our list. But the next oil takes DHT blocking to a completely different level. Number 4, tea tree oil. The oil number 4, scalp purifier. Tea tree oil is one of the most studied essential oils in the world, and its effects on the scalp are genuinely impressive. A 2013 study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology tested tea tree oil at a 5% concentration on over 120 participants with various scalp conditions. The results showed a 41% reduction in dandruff severity after just 4 weeks. Now, you might be thinking, what does dandruff have to do with hair loss? The answer is everything. Dandruff is caused by a fungus called Malaysia that lives on your scalp. When this fungus overgrows, it triggers intense inflammation and irritation. That inflammation weakens your follicles and makes them far more vulnerable to DHT attack. Think of it this way: if DHT is the burglar trying to break into your house, scalp inflammation is like leaving all the doors and windows wide open. Tea tree oil essentially slams those doors shut. Its primary active compound is called tarpenforol, and research from a 2016 Australian study found that this compound has powerful antifungal and antibacterial properties that eliminate malassezia and other harmful microbes from the scalp within days. But here is what makes tea tree oil particularly interesting for people over 50. As we age, our scalp produces less natural sebum, which is the oil that protects the skin. This drier environment actually creates the perfect breeding ground for fungal overgrowth. So older adults are disproportionately affected by scalp conditions that accelerate hair thinning. A 2020 study from the International Journal of Trichology found that 67% of adults over 50 had measurable levels of scalp inflammation even when they had no visible symptoms. That is silent inflammation destroying follicles without you even knowing it. Tea tree oil addresses this hidden problem directly. Beyond its antimicrobial action, tea tree oil also has a fascinating effect on blood circulation. When applied to the skin, it creates a mild tingling sensation. That tingle is not just a feeling, it is actually vasodilation, which means the tiny blood vessels in your scalp are opening up wider. More blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching your hair follicles. A 2018 study from Skin Pharmacology and Physiology measured a 28% increase in localized blood flow after topical application of tea tree oil within just 30 minutes. That nutrient delivery is critical for follicles that are trying to recover from DHT damage. Now, for application, this is extremely important. Tea tree oil is very potent, and you should never apply it directly to your scalp undiluted. You need to mix it with a carrier oil. The ideal ratio is 3 to 5 drops of tea tree oil per tablespoon of a carrier like jojoba oil or coconut oil. Jojoba is actually the best carrier because its molecular structure is almost identical to human sebum, so your scalp absorbs it perfectly. Mix the oils together in a small bowl. Then apply the blend directly to your scalp. Focus on the areas where thinning is most noticeable. The crown and the temples are usually the worst spots because those areas have the highest concentration of DHT receptors. Massage gently for 3 minutes and leave it on for at least 30 minutes before washing. You can use this treatment 2 to 3 times per week. Some people also add 5 drops to their regular shampoo bottle, which is a great low effort option for daily maintenance. Within 3 to 4 weeks, most users report significantly less itching, less flaking, and a healthier looking scalp. Overall, by week 8, many notice reduced shedding and early signs of baby hairs starting to appear, especially along the hairline. Tea tree oil is not the strongest DHT blocker on this list, but creates the clean, healthy scalp environment that your follicles desperately need to recover and respond to the stronger oils ahead. But the number three oil is where we really start getting into serious DHE blocking territory. Before we keep going, make sure to hit like and subscribe. What's coming up next is too important to miss. Oil number three. Number three, saw palmetto oil, the natural DHT destroyer. Saw palmetto oil is probably the closest thing nature has ever produced to the prescription drug finasteride, which is the gold standard medical treatment for hormonal hair loss. A landmark 2020 study published in the International Journal of Immunopathology and Pharmacology compared saw palmetto extract directly against finasteride in 100 men with androgenetic alopecia over 24 months. The results were remarkable. Finasteride improved hair count in 68% of participants, while saw palmetto improved hair count in 38% of participants. Now, 38% might sound lower, but here's the critical difference. The finasteride group reported sexual side effects in 9% of users, while the saw palmetto group reported zero sexual side effects. Zero for people over 50 who are already dealing with age-related hormonal changes. Avoiding those side effects is a massive advantage. Saw palmetto works by directly inhibiting an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. This is the exact enzyme that converts regular testosterone into DHT. When you block this enzyme, you are cutting off the supply of DHT before it ever reaches your follicles. It is like turning off the water at the main valve instead of trying to mop up the flood in every room. A 2015 study from the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that topical saw palmetto reduced scalp DHT levels by approximately 32% after 12 weeks of consistent use. That is a significant reduction, and it is enough to slow the miniaturization process in many follicles and even allow some to recover and start producing thicker hair again. What makes saw palmetto oil especially powerful is that when you apply it directly to the scalp, it concentrates the DHT blocking effect exactly where you need it most. Oral supplements have to go through your entire digestive system and bloodstream, so only a fraction of the active compound actually reaches your scalp. Topical application bypasses all of that and delivers the beta-sitosterol and other active phytosterols directly to the follicle receptor sites. A 2019 Italian clinical trial published in Dermatology Research and Practice followed 50 participants using topical saw palmetto oil for 16 weeks. They documented a 27% increase in hair density in the crown area and a 14% increase in the temporal region. Participants applied the oil daily and reported no adverse reactions whatsoever. The researchers concluded that topical saw palmetto represents a safe and effective alternative for individuals who cannot tolerate or prefer to avoid pharmaceutical DHE blockers. For preparation and use, look for saw palmetto oil that is clearly labeled as a CO2 extracted or cold rest oil from the berries. Avoid cheap versions that are just saw palmetto flavored carrier oils with minimal active compound. You want a product that lists Serena berry extract as the primary ingredient. Apply 1 to 2 millers directly to your scalp each night before bed, focusing on the thinning areas. Use a dropper for precision and massage for 2 minutes to ensure absorption. Leave it overnight and wash in the morning with a mild shampoo. Because palmetto works by enzyme inhibition, consistency is absolutely essential. Missing applications allows DHT production to resume at full capacity almost. Immediately, think of it like a daily medicine. The protection only works when the compound is present. Most studies show that noticeable results begin appearing between weeks 8 and 16, with progressive improvement continuing up to 6 months. You can also combine it with castor oil for an enhanced effect. Mix 1 ml of saw palmetto oil with half a tablespoon of castor oil for a potent nighttime treatment that blocks DHT while simultaneously thickening existing strands. This combination approach gave participants in a 2021 Turkish study a 35% improvement in overall hair volume after 5 months. That is real science, producing real visible changes. But the next oil has a mechanism of action that genuinely surprised the research community. Number two, pumpkin seed oil. Oil number two, the hormone balancer. Pumpkin seed oil might sound like something that belongs in your kitchen, but a groundbreaking 2014 randomized controlled trial published in evidence based complementary and alternative medicine changed everything the scientific community thought about this humble oil. In that study, 76 men with moderate hair loss were split into two groups. One group took 400 milligrams of pumpkin seed oil daily, and the other took a placebo. After 24 weeks, the pumpkin seed oil group showed a 40% increase in hair count compared to just a 10% increase in the placebo group. That is a 4 times greater improvement, and it was statistically significant. The researchers attributed this dramatic result to pumpkin seed oil's unique combination of DHE blocking compounds. It contains delta 7 serine, beta sitosterol, and a group of phytonutrients that collectively inhibit 5 alpha reductase through multiple pathways simultaneously. While palmetto blocks this enzyme through one main mechanism pumpkin seed oil attacks it from several angles at once. A 2019 follow up study from nutrition research and practice confirmed these findings and added something fascinating. They found that pumpkin seed oil also reduces levels of sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, which plays a complex role in how your body processes hormones related to hair health. By modulating SHBG, pumpkin seed oil helps create a more favorable hormonal environment for hair growth overall, not just at the follicle level, but systemically throughout the body. This is particularly important after 50 because that is when hormonal shifts become most dramatic in both men and women. Women going through or past menopause experience rising androgens relative to declining estrogen, and that shift accelerates hair thinning in a pattern similar to male hair loss. Pumpkin seed oil addresses this broader hormonal imbalance in a way that most other oils simply cannot. A 2021 study in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology tested topical pumpkin seed oil on 30 women aged 45 to 65 with female pattern hair loss. After 3 months, 73% of participants showed measurable improvement in hair density and 60% reported subjective improvement in hair, fullness, and volume. Those numbers are exceptional for a natural topical treatment with no side effects. The oil is also incredibly rich in zinc, magnesium, and iron, which are 3 minerals that your follicles need in high quantities to produce healthy hair. A 2017 study from Annals of Dermatology found that 42% of people experiencing hair loss were deficient in at least one of these minerals. When you apply pumpkin seed oil topically, these minerals absorb through the scalp and provide localized nutritional support directly to the follicle matrix where new hair cells are being generated. For best results with topical use, purchase organic cold pressed pumpkin seed oil. It should have a dark green color and a rich nutty smell. If it is pale or nearly odorless, the active compounds have likely been processed out. Apply about 1 teaspoon directly to your scalp 3 to 4 times per week. Warm it slightly between your palms first to improve absorption. Section your hair and apply it systematically from front to back, making sure to cover the crown thoroughly since that area responds best to pumpkin seed oil based on the clinical data. Massage for 3 to 5 minutes and leave it on for a minimum of 2 hours. Overnight is ideal. Many practitioners recommend combining topical application with oral supplementation of 400 to 500 milligrams of pumpkin seed oil in capsule form daily, matching the dosage used in the landmark 2014 study. This dual approach attacks DHT both from inside and outside, which no single application method can match. Expect to see early signs of improvement around week 6 to 8 with significant visible changes by month 3 to 4. Photographs taken in consistent lighting are the best way to track progress because day-to-day changes are subtle. This oil is a legitimate powerhouse and it deserves far more attention than it currently gets, but our number one oil is in a class entirely by itself. Oil number one on rosemary oil, the proven hair regrowth champion. Rosemary oil is not just the best natural oil for hair. Regrowth, it is one of the only natural substances ever shown in a head-to-head clinical trial to match a pharmaceutical hair loss drug. A landmark 2015 study published in Skin Journal randomized 100 participants with androgenetic alopecia into two groups. One group applied rosemary oil, and the other applied 2% minoxidil, which is the active ingredient in Roan the World's best selling hair regrowth product. After 6 months, both groups showed statistically equal increases in hair count. Read that again. A simple plant oil matched the performance of $1 billion pharmaceutical product. But the rosemary group had significantly less scalp itching, which is one of the most common reasons people quit minoxidil treatment. Then in 2022, researchers at Kinki University in South Korea took this further and published a study that stunned the dermatology world. They tested rosemary oil extract on participants with varying degrees of hair loss and measured follicle level changes using microscopic imaging. After 6 months, participants using rosemary oil showed up to a 90% increase in hair count in targeted areas. The mechanism behind rosemary oil is multi-aceted and extraordinarily potent. Its primary active compounds are carnosic acid, rosmarinic acid, and alcoholic acid. Each of these attacks hair loss through a different pathway. Carnosic acid directly inhibits 5-alpha reductase, blocking DHT production at the enzymatic level, just like saw palmetto, but with even greater binding affinity. According to a 2013 study in BMC Complementary Medicine, rosmarinic acid is a powerful anti-inflammatory that reduces prostaglandin D2 and calms the immune response around follicles, creating a healing environment where damaged follicles can recover. Andic acid does something no other oil compound on this list can do. It actually stimulates the production of nerve growth factor in the scalp. A 2020 study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that urolic acid increased nerve growth factor by 33% in skin tissue. Why does that matter? Because nerve growth factor directly signals hair follicle stem cells to activate and begin producing new hair. It literally wakes up dormant follicles that have been shut down by years of DHT exposure. This is why rosemary oil does not just slow hair loss, it actively reverses it in ways that most other treatments cannot. A 2021 meta analysis reviewing 6 clinical trials involving rosemary oil for hair loss concluded that it demonstrates consistent efficacy across different populations, ages, and genders with a favorable safety profile that makes it suitable for long-term use. For maximum results, you need to use rosemary oil correctly. Buy a high-quality, 100% pure rosemary essential oil, preferably one that specifies the species Rosmarinus offilis and uses steam distillation extraction. Mix 5 drops of rosemary essential oil with 1 spoon of jojoba oil as your carrier. Apply this blend to your entire scalp every single night. Yes, every night. The studies that produce the strongest results use daily application without exception. Part your hair into 4 to 6 sections and use a dropper to apply the mixture directly to your scalp along each part line. Then use your fingertips to massage in small circles for 4 to 5 minutes, covering every area from your forehead to the nape of your neck. Leave it on overnight whenever possible. If you cannot leave it overnight, a minimum of 45 minutes is needed for adequate absorption based on the penetration kinetics measured in a 2018 pharmacological study. In the morning, wash with a gentle shampoo and let your hair air dry when possible, since heat styling can damage fragile new growth. Here's an advanced technique that the clinical studies did not test, but that many trichologists now recommend. Once a week, create a concentrated rosemary scalp treatment by simmering 2 tablespoons of dried rosemary leaves in half a cup of jojoba oil on the lowest heat setting for 30 minutes. Strain out the leaves and add 10 drops of pure rosemary essential oil to the infused carrier oil. This creates an ultra concentrated treatment that delivers both the extracted whole plant compounds and the concentrated essential oil simultaneously. Apply this weekly treatment before bed on a night when you can leave it on for a full 8 hours. Within 4 weeks of daily use, most people notice reduced shedding. By week 8, the scalp often feels healthier, and small vellus hairs, which are those tiny colorless baby hairs, start appearing along the hairline and crown. By month 3 to 4, those vellus hairs begin to darken and thicken into terminal hairs that are visible to the naked eye. By month 6, the results in the clinical trials were dramatic enough to match pharmaceutical intervention. The patience is worth it. One final note on rosemary oil. It pairs exceptionally well with every other oil on this list. You can add saw palmetto oil and pumpkin, seed oil to your rosemary and jojoba blend for what many natural hair restoration practitioners call the ultimate DHT blocking cocktail. This combination has not been formally studied in a randomized trial yet, but the individual mechanisms complement each other so well that the theoretical synergy is strong. So there you have it. Those are the five most powerful oils that modern science has proven can block DHT and help regrow hair after 50. From castor oil building, thickness at number 5 to tea tree oil, purifying your scalp at number 4 to saw palmetto destroying DHT at number 3 to pumpkin seed oil balancing your hormones at number 2 all the way up to rosemary oil matching prescription drugs at number 1. The research is clear, the evidence is real, and the best part is these solutions are natural, affordable, and available to everyone. Your hair did not thin overnight, and it will not come back overnight either. But if you stay consistent with these oils, the science says your scalp will respond. If you found this helpful and you want more videos like this breaking down real science backed solutions for health after 50, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching.